we are live for Sunday Service episode number 56, hot off the UFC 319 fight card, which was a little bit disappointing to end the night. But overall, I got to say, it did live up to my expectations for the most part. Main card was very entertaining. Started it off with a Tim Elliott upset, submits Kai Asakura in the second with a nasty guillotine choke. Then we go to MVP versus Cannonier. And was it the most entertaining fight? No. But MVP has some way about him that makes you want to keep watching, even if there's not a lot happening. So I was okay with that one. Then we go to Carlos Prates, and the spinning back elbow from hell cost me a lot of money of major upside. So I was a little bit pissed about it, but a nasty KO. And then we go to the co-main event, and Aaron Pico gets fraud checked again. Was it a fraud check? I don't know. He caught him with the spinning back elbow again. So back-to-back spinning up back elbow knockouts. And Aaron Pico joins the Bellator guys of 2025 that cannot buy a win in their UFC debut after being hyped up. Then we go to the main event. And boys, I'll give my thoughts on the main event, but I got to say, it didn't really surprise me. You know, it really didn't surprise me what Khamzat was able to do to DDP. I just thought that he would do it a little bit more urgently to impress. You know, he won the fight in dominant fashion and completely rinsed him in the wrestling department. And I saw that coming, but I thought he would be able to possibly find a finish or at least get close to finding a finish. And he really wasn't anywhere near finding a finish. I thought DDP was going to have to work his way out of stuff, maybe fight through some submissions, make him work. But Chimaev just didn't really have to work for anything the entire fight. I didn't think it was going to be that easy for Khamzat to just coast through the entire fight and make it 25 minutes without ever really having to deal with any adversity. But I did think he would be able to take him down that easily. I just thought DDP would have a little bit better of a get-up game, man. I just knew his takedown defense was not going to be able to stop it. But I thought the way he would work out of it would allow him to fight back in the fight. And that just never happened because he didn't work out of it. He didn't work out of it for the first 15 minutes, man. He had no answer for it. So ultimately, very disappointing performance from DDP. Kind of saw it coming. Dominant performance from Khamzat, but also kind of disappointed because at the end of the day, man, like that's just not an entertaining fight. It's just not. You can, try to be hardcore and be like, wow, this 25 minutes of body lock or just grabbing the waist and holding him up against the cage, kneeing him on the chest, kneeing him to the body, kneeing or stomping on his foot, hitting these little rabbit punches, holding him inside control, got to the crucifix. Probably could have postured up and tried to land more elbows, but just hit him with these little rabbit shots. You could say that's entertaining, but come on, man. Come on. There's striking performances that aren't entertaining. And I will be willing to acknowledge that. There's also grappling performances that are very entertaining. And I am glad to acknowledge that. But the notion that this fight was entertaining and like people are going to be excited to watch Khamzat in his next fight, I just don't think that's realistic, man. You look at the overwhelming majority of people, they're not going to look at Khamzat Chimaev and be like, I need to watch this guy the next time he fights. No, they're going to look at who he beating the guy that was on is 9-0 in the UFC and was defending the belt. And Khamzat Chimaev just held on to him for the entire fight and be like, I guess I don't really need to watch his next fight because he's probably going to do the same thing. Now, will he? Will he do the same thing? Is the question, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying nobody's going to beat Khamzat. There's no way anybody beats Khamzat. And that's why I made the title of the video or the title of the live stream is that Khamzat is not unbeatable, man. He's not unbeatable. We thought he was beatable against Gilbert Burns. Why? Because he looked beatable. He looked beatable against Kamaru Usman. But the difference is Gilbert Burns has a nasty ground game, a really good defensive guard, and he made Khamzat Chimaev work. The difference with the Usman fight is Usman has elite wrestling and was able to match some of that wrestling to stop it and make the fight somewhat competitive. DDP does not have a good guard doesn't have a good guard, so he can't be defensively responsible on the ground, and he has no takedown defense. The guy was going in there with a 50% takedown defense in the UFC. A 50% takedowns in the UFC, 50% takedown defense in the UFC, and he was getting taken down by Darren Till. So I knew he wouldn't be able to stop the takedowns, but I thought he'd maybe be able to force some scrambles and make Khamzat work, but that just did not happen. Did not happen. So the notion that Khamzat Chimaev is now unbeatable, I do not buy into it. I don't buy into it whatsoever. If you get a guy that has good wrestling or good takedown defense, along with a good ability to scramble or a good guard to play safe and possibly get out of it, like, I didn't see anything in that fight that I looked at with Khamzat Chimaev and I was like, dude, this guy is unbeatable. I just thought he just was clearly the better wrestler than Dricus Du Plessis, and Du Plessis had no answer for it. But there's going to be guys that have an answer for the wrestling. It's just a matter of fact if they can put Khamzat through the adversity late or hurt him in the fight, have the ability to hurt him, have the chance to hurt him. So that's kind of my take on the main event. I'm sure we got some takes in the chat as well. I'm going to start going through the chat. The prelims overall were pretty good as well. They were okay. Actually, there were some questionable scorecards, but let's get to the chat, boys. I appreciate y'all for joining me tonight. Hot off the UFC 319 fight card. DDP is trash, says Chris Jackson. Yeah, I mean, he definitely needs to go to Dagestan or do something, man, because the takedown defense was just atrocious. Just atrocious. What's going on, Kobe? Tough night yesterday. I mean, I made a good amount of money, but I could have made a ton of money. Unfortunately, I did not. Bro, Papa C. I don't know what that means. I know for a fact you're mad. I'm not even mad, dude. I expected it. I picked Khamzat to win. I kind of expected what actually played out to happen and actually made money on the fight. So I don't even think I can be mad. I'm a little sad for DDP, but I had no expectation of him actually pulling this off in my mind. I really had very little expectation. There was some hope, but I was not really thinking he was going to win. Was debating putting Dricus to get a takedown. Would have been like plus 530 or so with a boost. Wow. Yeah, he got one, like cheap one in round 5. That would have been a sweat. Crazy card with the worst main event I've seen since Ngannou versus Lewis or Dota versus Kimbo. I mean, there's been some bad ones. If you're talking pay-per-views, but I don't even think Ngannou versus Lewis was a pay-per-view, so you can't even say that. I mean, there's been some really bad fight night main events. I wouldn't say that's the worst main event I've seen what's the worst main event I've seen, man? I'd probably think back to Corey Sandhagen versus Rob Font. That main event was bad, really bad. That was a bad one. But this one wasn't as bad. Not as bad. Take that DDP pick down. Man, I ain't going to take my DDP painting down. Like, come on. I still got to support my boy. I'm not going to be one of these guys that's a fair weather fan. That AI fight last night was crazy. It was AI, bro. Fact, man, I lost so much money on... I got to fucking blow this up so I could see it. Lost so much money on the main card. Kai KO, Pico, Moneyline, Khamzat finish, Prates round 3. Yeah. Those were... I mean, you get 2 spinning back elbows. Like, how often does that happen? There's only been, 10? I think I saw that. There was a stat that says there's only been 10 spinning back elbow knockouts in UFC history. And 2 of them happened last night, and they were back-to-back. So if you win a fight based on a spinning back elbow, it's not a high probability that that's going to happen again. So there's just some things you can't really expect, and that's one of them. Man, I was really hoping for Pico. Dude, he got fucking nuked by that elbow. And the thing is, he was looking pretty good in that fight. There was a couple body shots that he landed on Lerone Murphy where I was questioning. I was like, dude, did he like fucking really hurt Lerone with those shots? But he looked pretty good. He looked pretty dang good. But that's the problem with Pico, dude. He is so aggressive and he's so in your face. He's there to be hit. That's why I played the under 2.5 rounds at plus 190. MVP is good. So is Prates, but DDP is not good. The thing is, he's never been some amazing wrestler. So, I mean, he really hasn't faced any good wrestlers in the UFC. That's why I thought this matchup would probably go poorly for him. You know, he's fighting Strickland, Adesanya, and Whitaker. These are guys that are not going to wrestle you. And Whitaker even took him down in the first round with relative ease. So, yeah, I pretty much saw the writing on the wall, but I had some hope for DDP to maybe just, you know, pull out the accidental spinning elbow or some shit. Just a little bit of hope. You got to have that sometimes as an MMA fan. You know, I'm an MMA better, but at my core, I do have, you know, some fan in me, you know. Was afraid DDP would lose, but didn't think he'd get dominated on the ground like that. And I didn't think it would go for 25 minutes where Khamzat really wasn't even pushing for any type of finish either. He was just content to, you know, win the minutes, which I guess if you're the challenger, you want to become a champion and that's how you want to do it, by all means, do what you got to do. But as a fan, I can't sit here and act like I'm liking it. You know, I can't act like I'm entertained by it. Told you Pico was Apache Mix 2.0. I mean, this one's different, man. This one's a little bit different. And I was skeptical on Pico too, but I was also a little bit skeptical of the Lerone Murphy because I didn't really think, you know, his wins over these old guys like Barbosa and Josh Emmett were really all that. So, I mean, I was skeptical on both sides, but I did think Pico had more upside. The thing with Patchy is he got pieced up for 3 rounds. Pico was winning until he got spinning back elbowed. So much different, much different. Pitbull and Patchy was just 2 terrible performances. Good call on the under 2.5 on the Pico fight. Easy money. I told you, I can't believe it was plus 190, dude. It made no sense to me. So I'm glad I put a unit on it instead of like a half a unit because that'd probably be what I was at. But I just thought we were getting a ton of value. DDP 8 Khamzat on the feet after was waiting for the bell in all the rounds. I don't know what that means, but Pico was doing good and got caught from being over aggressive. Story of his career. Exactly, dude. So that's the story of his career. Every time he's really lost, he's been over aggressive and got fucking knocked out. I don't think fraud check. He was just fed to 16 of. Yeah, he's not a fraud. He's not a fraud. I shouldn't have used that term. I still think he's going to do pretty good stuff in the UFC, but that chin is definitely, you know, going to be a question because that's his, 4th knockout loss. DDP is a bag of chips. He will never get the belt again. I promise you that. All right, Chris Jackson. I never said he was going to get the belt again, but I clearly see that you are a Khamzat fan, and that's cool. But I don't know why you got to hate on DDP for that. 2 crucifix and no damage. What a shame. This is what we call a champion. At this point, yeah. At this point, this is what we call a champion because, you know, whatever it takes to win. It was actually crazy that I saw he got a $50K bonus for that. A $50K bonus. Khamzat Chimaev gets a $50K bonus for winning a 25-minute fight where he landed how many significant strikes? Let's just take a look at this. You know what? I got to make a comparison. Oh my God. Khamzat Chimaev got a $50K bonus. Yeah, it's a performance bonus. It's not a fight of the night bonus. They didn't give a fight of the night bonus. Wow. Chimaev got a $50K bonus for a 25-minute fight where he landed 37 significant strikes. 37. He also had 21 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. 0 submission attempts. And a grand total of 25 significant strikes on the ground. 25 significant strikes on the ground. That's 1 significant strike per minute in the fight on the ground. That's a $50K bonus worthy performance, I guess. But if you watch last week's Tuesday night's Contender Series, Radley De Silva also won the fight via grappling, and Dana White was not thrilled. Not thrilled, and he did not give him a UFC contract. So Dana White was not willing to fork out a 12-12 contract for Radley De Silva on Dana White's Contender Series because he won the fight via grappling. and via wrestling. But he's willing to fork out $50,000 to Khamzat Chimaev, who is now the UFC champion, because he got 12 takedowns in a championship fight, landed 37 significant strikes in a 25-minute fight, had 0 submission attempts, landed 25 significant ground strikes, and had 21 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. I don't know how that makes sense. I really don't know how that makes sense. But if Radley De Silva, I guess, maybe had a beard with no mustache, maybe he would have got a contract. I'm not sure. Maybe it would have been dominant then, but who knows? What's next for our boy DDP? I really think they should throw him Rainier de Ritter, dude. I mean, that just seems like that's the perfect matchup. DDP coming off the title loss. RDR is kind of in a weird space. You got Imavov versus Bahalio coming up in early September. And then you got de Ritter and Anthony Hernandez, both in a spot where they could fight each other. But if you're the UFC, do you want them to fight each other? Probably not. And Rainier de Ritter is this awkward-looking dude who just passed the Robert Whittaker test. Well, if you pass the Robert Whittaker test, then usually you get the title shot, but it's too backed up to do that. So you got to give him the next Robert Whittaker, maybe. Dricus du Plessis. Give him DDP. RDR versus DDP makes a ton of sense. Book it. If RDR wins that fight, you might have to skip the line over the winner over Bahalio versus Imavov, or he's next in line because in reality, DDP is probably not going to fight for 4 to 5 months, probably. So you'll have a little bit of time there. Maybe you could do it on the same card. You could do Bahalio Imavov winner versus Khamzat next in the next 4 to 5 months. And then you have DDP versus RDR on there as well. Or maybe you just do RDR versus Anthony Hernandez. But I think that's the good fight, dude. I think it's a really good fight. Unfortunately, the DDP ground game was exposed, in my opinion. Even though Khamzat is an elite grappler, I feel like DDP was still bigger than him. I mean, they're pretty similar, pretty comparable in size. I just don't think... Yeah, DDP's ground game was just fucking terrible, dude. It was so bad. Disagree. Khamzat is getting disrespected even when shut everyone up. Okay. I don't know how he's getting disrespected, but there's always seems to be that narrative. Hit a sweaty plus 350 for DDP to get at least one takedown. Good hit, brother. De Ritter can definitely give him a run for his money. If you're talking De Ritter versus Khamzat, I don't know about that. But if you're talking De Ritter versus DDP, I could see that. On the feet, Khamzat is nothing. It's only only the takedown, no ground game. He's literally a blanket. He is just a fucking blanket, dude. His scrambles are tough. I mean, it's tough to get out from bottom against that guy. I was debating doing that, but never pulled the trigger. Yeah, that would have been nice plus money. De Ritter will knock him out. Ooh, little meme KO for Rainier de Ritter. Who's next for Khamzat's training partner? I could see them giving him a decent matchup moving forward. Let's think. Middleweights. Let's look at the rankings on Tapology. See if there's any names that I like. Middleweight, come on. Oh my God, they're hitting me with fucking ads. Tapology ads are terrible. Sign up. Oh my God, fuck off, Tapology. Middleweights, I think you could give them... You can't really throw them to like the Wolves, man. You got to give them like... you could get him like a fucking Ruzaboyev. You could give him Ruzaboyev. Nursultan Ruzaboyev. I guess he wants to fight soon, though. I guess Ruzaboyev could fight soon. He said he wanted to be on the Noche card or some shit. I don't know why he'd want to be on that one, but yeah, I guess you could throw him like Ruzaboyev. Dricus du Plessis. Nice. It's funny that all of this cardio strategy essentially bailed down to don't fight like Khamzat Chimaev and you'll last 5 rounds. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. It was so obvious too early on that DDP was like just trying to stay safe early on. And then it got to the point where it was time to turn up. And Khamzat hadn't expended any energy because he didn't make him work. So the game plan did not turn out, man. I predicted the main event perfectly. Good job. I think if Kyle gets past Imavov, he has a real chance against Khamzat. I do think Kyle could give him a good fight. Because I don't know that Kyle is just going to get bitched on the mat like that, you know? You want to fight me? Go ahead, bro. What Khamzat did to DDP is what Bilal was supposed to do to DDP, just like he did Leon. I don't know if he would do that. Fingers crossed we get on even money Drickus line next fight. Probably will be pretty good line because he got washed. Everyone finally giving DDP credit. I had a weird feeling this was going to be the fight. He looked as bad as everyone has been saying he is. Yeah, exactly. That's what you call a sell high. The thing is, selling high doesn't always mean they're the favorite. Could mean they're a dog. People were talking shit about Khamzat Gas Tank, but Gas Tank was on full last night. I mean, he didn't really have to do anything outside of hold him and hold him on top. I mean, really didn't have to work for much. He was in the positions that he wanted to be in. Izzy versus Romero, worst main event? Yeah, that's probably one of the worst of all time. Think DDP Chimaev rematch eventually? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It wouldn't even make sense, man. It wouldn't even make sense. The first fight was like not competitive whatsoever. It really wasn't. Like, I don't see that happening ever. What Khamzat did to DDP, yeah, you said that. Asakura and DDP fraud checks. I mean, they're not fucking frauds. DDP was the champ. Maybe Asakura was a fraud, but Tim Elliott's still like not bad. Volk versus Murphy will be a great title fight. I don't believe that that's actually happening, but we'll see. We'll see. I actually feel pretty good about Laron's chances. I think Laron could maybe put it away. Prospects rob people with a DDP discount? Oh, on significant strikes, did they do that? Damn. That's brutal. Prate's last second round cost us so much. Dude. Oh, God. 1 second left, man. 1 second left. Just back away. Just back away. Nah, he gets fucking spinning back elbow. The thing is, like, it wasn't even that, Jeff Neal durability didn't show up, or he didn't show up in shape, or he was just getting pieced up. Like, he was being relatively competitive. That's kind of how I thought the fight was going to go. He would be relatively competitive, but Prates would be landing the better shots. And then, like, you get caught with a spinning back elbow to the temple, you're going out, dude. Like, you're going out. It was a fucking walk-off, too. What was your reaction to DDP almost having that choke fully in? Dude, you should have saw my reaction. In my head, I'm thinking, this is how he would win. This is how DDP would fucking win, right? Because when Mark Goddard separated them with like a minute 30 left in the fight, I was thinking Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. It might actually happen again, because in the Leon versus Kamaru fight, the ref stepped in to separate him against the cage, and then they went back out to distance, and then Leon Edwards landed the head kick and knocked him out. So I was thinking, Duplessis, throw the fucking head kick, dude. It might actually happen. And then they get to the ground. He gets to the back. I'm like, no way. No way. No way. This is how DDP wins. He gets smoked for 24 minutes and 30 seconds of the fight, and then finds some rear naked choke and Khamzat taps out. Like, that would be fucking insane. But then he got out of it. I was like, yeah, there's no way he's going to submit Khamzat like that. Come on. Had a few slips with round 2 and 3. How long has the stream been running? We've been running for 24 minutes and 37 seconds. We'll probably go for like 30 more minutes. We'll see. I'm pretty behind on the chat, but Khamzat is such a boring fighter, not going to lie. The under 2.5 was crazy to me. A plus 190, hammered it. Good stuff. Fighting Nerds 3-leg parlay cashed. Shouldn't have cashed, though. I thought Karine Silva lost. I was pretty certain of it, but I guess they gave it to her. I guess it could be arguable, but I thought Barbosa won 1 and 2. Laurel Murphy at plus money was free cheese. It was free cheese. Khamzat was fighting like a Mihal was free cheese. Round 1 KO was free cheese. Call me a hater, but I still think Khamzat is mid. Rip Pico, Neal, and Pico and Neal, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's mid, dude. He's definitely not mid. Mozart would smoke Pico. Very different matchup, but I do think Mozart would win. Put the fries in the bag, Asakura. Agreed. Lauren Murphy takedown defense is still ass. Yeah. He gets up, though. He gets up. You know, that's the thing. He gets taken down, but he gets up pretty quick. Holy shit, 3 a.m. start time next week, but there are some bangers. Betting lines are amazing, too. Rongju versus Hubbard is the matchup I didn't want but needed. You were excited about that matchup? Wow. Interesting. But yeah, I'll be up at 3 a.m., boys. Maybe we'll do a live stream. You know, maybe we'll do a live stream, little fight companion at 3 a.m. in the morning. See who's up. Any early picks for UFC China? Maybe Sterling decision. I think Sterling decisions is probably the way to go. Pair that with Zhang KO. You're probably solid. Was DDP the first to take down Khamzat? He was. Yeah. You cannot knock Aaron Pico. Dude was fighting a great fight. Just got caught how he usually does. Lerone was never winning by points that fight ever. That's why Pico was the fave too. I agree with you. Too many DDP haters. Crazy work. Agreed. Mozart versus Yair. Mozart washes that dude. I don't think it's going to get better for the Bellator fighters. I think Kita is going to knock out Pitbull. I think Kita. Where's Kita from? Fucking Octagon? Yeah, I think he could knock him out too. I feel like Bahalio Chimaev would be close. What you think? I think it would be close too. How do you see the division playing out now? Do you think Fluffy can give Khamzat a run? What about RDR? I think Fluffy could maybe give him a run, but I could also see Fluffy getting finished early on. So we'll see. Maybe RDR, but I don't know if RDR's cardio would last. I'm glad there's no more Yair talk for title. Fuck that overhype. No name bum. Agreed. Craig Jones saying DDP spent more time on the crucifix than Jesus Christ, dude. That's fucking terrible. He deserves a 50K bonus for that domination. All right, get on your knees, little boy. Someone said if Tyron Woodley did what Khamzat did, Dana would talk so much shit. It's true. 50K is worth it for spanking DDP the way he did. Yeah, okay. I guess he probably spanked him. He definitely didn't fucking punch him in the face. Was really shocked to see Chimaev landed 530 strikes, even though most of them were rabbit punches. Yeah, I mean, anything that actually touches is considered a strike. But if it's significant, it has to like land with a little bit of force, you know? So that's why he landed so many strikes. Like this is literally like 10 strikes right here. Just easy. 500. No, it's 500 strikes, buddy. Not 500 significant strikes. Protest Def deserved that bonus after Jeff's BS. Definitely deserved it. Won the 3 minutes on the feet too. Was there even 3 minutes? I mean, I don't even think there was. It's probably less. DDP wrestling looked bad. Some of the positions weren't crazy high level. Yeah, I thought so too, man. He kept the bigger fighter from doing anything for 25 minutes. Bigger fighter. I don't know if... I mean, everyone was saying Khamzat was bigger than him all week. I don't know if he was that much bigger. Love Prodigy, but he threw one elbow. I mean, Chimaev had cardio for 20. Oh, my God, dude. If you're the champion, you should have 25 minutes of cardio. How do you think fight would have played out if Drakus could have stuffed the takedowns in maybe rounds 2 to 3? I mean, if it's just a striking match, I think Drakus wins, but that's not what it is. It's not what it is. I mean, you could say if he stuffed the takedowns, but if what? Like, he didn't. Jeff calling a first-round KO. Who was going to sleep? Dude. Oh, man. The fact that he said this is going to be a one-round fight and then literally got knocked out as the buzzer sounded was like just poetic, man. Like, what the fuck, bro? You get knocked out with 0 seconds on the clock and you're the one guy saying that it's going to be a round 1 fight. It definitely wasn't the most entertaining performance, but you are mad that he fought a smart fight rather than asking what the hell DDP was doing during that training camp. I mean, I'm not mad that he fought a smart fight. I'm just saying it wasn't entertaining. I'm not mad about it. I don't really give a fuck. I'm just giving my opinion, bro. It wasn't entertaining. And if you want to say it's entertaining, you're probably fucking lying to yourself, or you're just trying to be weird. Why do people cry about grappling and wrestling like it's mixed martial arts, not boxing? All right. You're really trying to be so hardcore. Like, yeah, it's mixed martial arts, not a fucking wrestling match, dude. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, if you have an advantage on the ground, take advantage of it. But still trying to be like finishing the fight or trying to do damage. Like, he didn't really. We've seen Khamzat fucking murk guys on the ground, and he really wasn't doing any of that. So, yeah, there's no value in MVP KO because he just stands there. Yeah, so true, dude. So true. He probably could have TKO'd Jared Cannonier in round 2 if he wanted to, but he just stand there and emotes and just does whatever the fuck he does for whatever reason. I think it's the fact that Khamzat said he says he's going to kill everybody too. He did nothing even close to killing last night. It's the most important fight of Khamzat's career. You want him to stick his chin in front of DDP. Are you dumb? That's an extreme Dana White boy. That's a very extreme thing to throw out there. I would just say maybe try to work for a finish. Maybe try to be putting some damage on the guy instead of just holding him there. Maybe take, a little bit of risk. And I'm not saying risk as in like stand and strike with him, but take some risk trying to advance position. That's why Ilia Topuria is so fun, because he takes risks. He stands in the pocket and he's the better pocket boxer and he knocks guys out. But once you stand in that pocket, there's always the risk that you could get knocked out. But he takes the risk and he reaps the reward. He comes out with highlights every single time that he fights. More risk, more reward. Khamzat didn't take any risk. The reward is, I guess he gets a $50K bonus from Dana White. That's his reward. But a lot of the fans are going to walk away from that fight and say, well, I thought Khamzat Chimaev was saying he's going to kill everybody. He's going to smash everybody. Well, I guess he won the fight, but was it really that entertaining? Not really. Do I really want to, pay $80 to see his next fight? Not really. Am I going to get super excited about his next fight? Do I really want to watch 25 minutes of him wrestling a guy and not looking for any type of finish in his next fight? Not really. But Ilia Topuria, I'm going to tune in for his next fight because I know this guy's going to go in there and try to knock this dude's head off. And he's going to take his risk and he'll reap his reward. So that's the difference, bro. That's the difference. Fluffy's the only man that can beat Khamzat. Maybe. I don't think you understand how common sense works, bro. Or like the business of the UFC. UFC is not mixed martial arts. It's Ultimate Fighting Championship and it's entertainment. All right. This isn't some MMA like display of, show me the best mixed martial artists. No, you want to have the best fighters in the world put on entertaining performances so they can sell tickets and they can sell money. It's very simple. Agreed. Appreciate you, brother. Fair play on that gameplay. On the game plan, though. Yeah, if you want to win, go ahead, dude. Izzy versus MVP, that fight would be fucking terrible. Anyone saying Izzy versus MVP, please get the fuck out of here because that fight would suck. Do you not remember Izzy versus Yoel Romero? The worst fight of all time. MVP versus Izzy would be them literally dancing at each other for 15 minutes. Them looking at each other, maybe throwing a punch every couple minutes, but they would literally go in there and it would be like a dance battle. Who's got the better moves? They ain't going to go in there and put on a fun fight, dude. They're not. They're not at all. They're just going to go in there and dance. If you want to watch dancing, watch the fucking Dancing with the Stars. All right, MVP should probably join up for that too. Dr. Peener, DDP is handsome. RDR is handsome. What's not to like? Always going to be a masterclass in clunky walkiness. Yeah, agreed. That'd be a sick fight. DDP should go to 205. I don't know if he could do that. I got to stop betting with emotions. Wanted DDP, and that's why I bet him. Yeah, don't do that. DDP dominated his opponents, and he just got dominated. 50K worthy dummy. Oh my God, dude. Khamzat 3+ takedowns. That plus money was a gift. Yeah, I wish he could have laddered that, dude. I would have made a nasty ladder. 5 rounds of control time. You couldn't finish him. It's just wild to throw 500 something of total strikes, and you only got 35 significant. Exactly. Tim Elliott by sub plus 900 seemed too easy. It looked easy, man. You know, Dana's butthole puckered up when Chimaev almost got KO'd. Yeah, I'm sure he was. He's a blanket now after one fight where you all said confidently if DDP gets out of the first round, he will win. I did not say that. I could tell you that. I actually said quite the opposite. Dixon. Hey, Jai, we were so close to reaching the goal of my gambling queen, Corey, showing her feet on camera deep down inside. I have hope it will become a reality like Chimaev's dream became a reality. Maybe someday, Dixon. Maybe someday. Are you waking up at 2 a.m. for the prelims on Saturday? Or are you waking up at 2 a.m. for the prelims on Saturday? Answer, I'm waking up at 2 a.m. for the prelims on Saturday. Think Chimaev would want to grapple with Kyle, he'll grapple with anybody, bro. Fluffy or Kyle, the best matchups for him right now. I could see it. Praying for the MMA community if Khan wins. True, so true. For the few seconds they were on the feet, Driggers didn't even go all in. Did he respect the power or was just feared the takedown? Definitely just feared getting taken down. The sad thing was DDP defended the hooks when Khamzat had the back and the subs, but he could not break the rear body lock. To be honest, DDP wrestling isn't even, I would say, high school state level. Yeah, probably not. A lot of strength moves trying to push Khamzat off. Exactly. That's a good breakdown. Terrified of getting taken down? Yeah. Asakura wants to return to Ryzen. He should. Khamzat ain't fighting for another year. Probably gets sick. I don't know how anyone can be so happy about this. Probably true. What up, Desert? How we doing? Although whoever took that prize picks, discount on DDP should be ashamed of themselves. I wonder what it was. I didn't see it. But maybe what did they discounted to like 30 something? Like that's pretty bad. Think Khamzat could go down to welterweight to become double champion like he wants to? I mean, he weighted at 183, so I'm sure he could probably make 170. He'd probably murk everyone at 170, dude. Your reason I changed my pick to Khamzat Chimaev. Hey, if you get one of the biggest DDP fans out there to tell you I got to pick Chimaev in this one, that should tell you a lot, dude. Send DDP to Dagestan 2-3 years, 100%, dude. Send that dude out of here. Even though Pico got smoked, I think he has a fun pace that will keep him in the promotion for a minute. He's going to be like a Michael Chandler, bro. He's going to be like a Michael Chandler. He probably will do better than Michael Chandler because he's younger, but he's an exciting guy. He's going to go in there and look for the finish. Hey, to be honest, how many times have you replayed that clip of Lucrative James interviewing Coach Eric Nixick where he glazes you for like 90 seconds for your tape study and perspective on fights? Excuse me. Probably twice. Jeff Neal said himself there should be no reason it goes past 2 rounds. I guess, yeah, he was counting on that. That highlight reel you made of DDP was right on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The wrestling one. Yeah. After watching that and making that, I was like, there's no way he fucking wins. There's just no way. Any of your long shots hit yesterday? Nah. Unfortunately, I didn't like any of the subs yesterday, and there turned out to be 3 of them. But yeah, I think I lost the Andrade decision. Cooked it right away. Dude, yes, do a live stream. I got to go hang out with someone at 2 a.m. I mean, what else are we going to do, right? Maybe I'll do that. RDR Prob has the best chance, but it's not good. Probably not. Bro, let me tell you. The betting week I had. Down 2 units from the Contender Series, then PFL won 1.5 units on Robert Watley. Lost because my damn self put Liz and Gaji parlay. 4 units came back, 5 units from close money line, loopy money line, and Tim Elliott money line. Bang. The comeback kid. Not a huge fan of all the wrestling, but it was impressive. Rewatched the fight. I actually can't believe how dominant it was. There was nothing, dude. Could have watched that fight on Cornhub. Look at DDP. What did he do? He was too slow to even make contact with Chimaev, right? On the champ, not being able to do much. Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess maybe Khamzat should take it as a compliment because we're ragging on him for being so dominant that he wasn't dominant enough at the same time. Hey, Jive, you know that meme of Wolverine laying down in his bedroom caressing a picture frame? I feel like that's going to be you tonight with that picture of DDP that's behind you. I can guarantee you it's not, but that is pretty funny. It's pretty funny, dude. I mean, that's a real painting. That's a one of one. I got to get it signed one day. What would you give that fight out of 10 for entertainment? Entertainment, I'd give it a 1. A 1. I bet on DDP moneyline and I hedge Khamzat sub on a 3-legger. Bastard couldn't at least put DDP to sleep. I knew that was going to be tough, man. Keep challenging Chimaev. I think he's not even tapped into his total skills. If he gets better on the feet and keeps his distance, he's going to be around for a while. We'll see how long he is, because apparently he was going to retire before that fight or something. $2 dono from Tuxedo Mask. Khamzat threw over 500 significant strikes. Boring. He did not throw over 500 significant strikes. I gotta fact check you, brother. I gotta fact check you. He actually threw 47 significant strikes in the fight in a 25-minute fight. So yeah, but thanks for the $2, brother. Hope they don't make MVP versus Prates in Brazil. Prates needs a top 10 welterweight. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, okay, make it. But Prates needs a better fight than that. Rowan's elbow was cleaner, definitely. Do you think Khamzat will be the most inactive champion? And who do you think gives him the toughest challenge at 185? I think Bahalio probably gives him the toughest challenge. Maybe Fluffy. I think they're neck and neck. And I don't know if he's going to be active. I mean, he only fights once a year. I guess we'll probably get him once a year, maybe twice, if we're lucky. Those it's MMA guys are so empty. It goes both ways. It's not wrestling. It's MMA. Exactly. Dana Whiteboy is the type of boy to hate on Strickland for the way he talks compared to how he fights, but defend Khamzat for doing the same. 100%. Khamzat looked like an ultimate firefighter as he blanketed the danger until the bell rang. So true. Khamzat lost some stripes 100%. Very big difference watching Khamzat land 500 strikes compared to... Yeah, exactly. Very big difference watching Khamzat land 500 strikes compared to Max Holloway landing 500 significant strikes. 100%, Mario. You dropping some DFS Dana White Contender Series Tuesday? 100%, my brother. 100%. If you a fan of Chimaev enough with the entertainment talk, the fighters want to win, not be entertainers. Not every fighter wants to just win. They want to entertain as well. Yeah, it's a business, that's for sure. And I can tell you right now, Martin Budai didn't get a contract being 7-1 because he was entertaining. He actually got cut from the UFC because he wasn't entertaining, even though he was 7-1. So just saying that the fighters want to win doesn't mean they're going to be in the UFC, man. Or not that people are going to like them. Khamzat fought smart. I can't believe you were hating that much. I wasn't even hating that much. We've seen all this guy's fights, and he is at least from boring one. Yeah, I mean, sure. Can't wait to see your reaction when Ilya fights Arman and gets ragdolled. Yeah, good luck with that one, bro. If UFC don't want Khamzat to win, why did they feed DDP to him? I mean, they definitely did want him to win. What up, sellout? Thank you, Sleaze. We got some glazers in the chat. DDP defended the title this time last year, and now he lost the belt. Yeah, I mean, I think the average amount of defenses for a champion is like 1.5. You know, it's not that many. Dana Whiteboy is probably in pain for riding it too much. Wasn't excited how did he get the DDP title fight? Oh my God, dude. You're completely missing the mark here. Completely missing it. Yeah, definitely wipe your mouth. I think John Silva will KO Lopez. That's a good line to take. I think he does too. I'm going to give your – oh, my God. Rise of Fighters are always a good fave when betting. Except Manel Cop. Manel Cop's pretty decent. I think Waldo can take the cake this weekend. Possibly. Pretty big dog. More than 34 significant strikes. That was the discount? Jeez. Yeah, nah. I don't really fuck with those discounts. Those always sketch me out a little bit. The main event was so bad I have requested a refund from Stream East. The MVP Lerone understrikes you have out was money. It was super, super money. I knew I loved that play. 100% was going to hit. Dana White boy got his only good comment from Hey Jive is Savage. I don't know what the fuck that means. Everyone crying about inactive champ, but Khamzat fighting in Abu Dhabi. I'm sure he'll fight in Abu Dhabi once a year. I mean, you say Khamzat is not unbeatable, but can't give us a clear guy who is beating him. I mean, I'm just saying he fought Dricus du Plessis, who went into the fight with a UFC career takedown defense of 50%, facing guys like Darren Till and Robert Whittaker who were taking him down. So I didn't expect him to stuff the takedowns whatsoever. And there are some guys that are much better wrestlers and grapplers than DDP, like a Kyle Bahalio, like a Fluffy Hernandez, that could give him some troubles. So I'm saying he's not unbeatable. Why the fuck would I say he's unbeatable? Then what the fuck's the point? He's not unbeatable. There are some guys that could give him some troubles and could beat him. That's what it is. That's not fucking hating. Glazers, bro. Want to see DDP back ASAP? I don't know, man. I think you might have to go away a couple years to Dagestan after that. What other fights can you bring added to UFC Noche? No lie, the card looks real rough, and I bought tickets, so hoping for 2 more fights, but maybe a good co-main and feature bout. Well, it's not a pay-per-view, so I don't even know if they're going to try to stack it, bro. I really don't think they're going to care. I think they're just going to try to get as many Mexicans as they can on the card. There is a Mexican fighting on the Contender Series this Tuesday who's undefeated, that if he wins, they'll give him a contract and they might put him on there, but nobody that great, man. Nobody that great. Chimaev wasn't inactive because he was unhealthy. He was inactive because people were running scared of the boogeyman. Yeah, okay. That's why he pulled out of fights, right? How many sig strikes did DDP throw? I think it was like 20 or something. Wasn't much. Was debating doing Jack Della to win versus Islam, but now I might switch my pick. Any advice for that? I don't know what your pick really means. Like who you think's gonna win doesn't really mean anything in the end of the day. If you're gonna bet on it, then I would say to do whatever you feel is right, brother. Like that fight is way too far away. It's not even booked, so I can't give you a good breakdown. You think Gage Young next week is underrated? I feel like he has the skills, just had some tough matchups. I do think he could beat Mahashot. I do think that could be a potential look. What are Khamzat opening odds for his next fight? -500. Dude, I saw some random odds of like Khamzat versus this guy, because they'll just make those even though like the fight's not announced. Khamzat Chimaev versus Michael Venom Page. Khamzat Chimaev opened at -2,000, dude. -2,000 versus Michael Venom Page. Now, obviously, that fight ain't gonna happen, but that's just funny that they throw that out there. Is Hooper cooked? Dude, his striking has always been bad. It never got better, really. Maybe a little bit, but it never really got good. Any chance for Khamzat versus Fluffy in Abu Dhabi? I think Kyle Imavov. I don't think that's going to happen, dude. I think they're going to give him the winner of Kyle versus Imavov. What do you think of Islam versus Chimaev if Islam defends once and they did a catchweight? They're never gonna do a catchweight. Now that would actually be big, but I don't know that they would even do it. Imagine that if Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena at 170. And Khamzat Chimaev defends his belt once or twice. Islam defends it once or twice. They're both champions. Khamzat's the champion at 185. Islam's the champion at 170. What's stopping Khamzat Chimaev from going down to 170 and taking on Islam Makhachev? That could actually be a huge fight. I don't even think anyone said that. That could be a huge fight. The fact that this time last year, Dricus submitted Adesanya, and this year he got dominated and lost his belt. I miss him as a champ. Yeah, those were the days, bro. I don't think you caught on it on the super chat, but he called Khamzat's 500 strikes insignificant. Oh, probably not. My monitor is kind of far away, so it's a little hard for me to read. Hey, Jai for Prez. Yeah, let's go, brother. Y'all keep saying he fights once a year like he just wasn't banned from America. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem when you're friends with who you're friends with, you know? Dana guy doing backflips on the meat. For real. Decent card topped off with an absolute snoozer. Thank God for the strikers in the sport. Sterling low on significant strikes for the DFS this week's a lock. Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, brother. We'll see what the line is, but I don't know. I illegally streamed the main event, and I want my refund. Did he say that? That's hilarious. Nazim or Moicano, October 11th. Is that a fight? Sadikov versus Moicano? Fuck, dude. That's sketchy. That's sketchy. Armin smokes Ilya? Yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right. Bro, I've been subscribed to your channel for 2 weeks now, and it's been a wild ride. Loving the content. I appreciate that, Forrest. Glad you're here. We always rock with it, brother. Rock with it. Usman in 5-round fight. It's over. Maybe, man. Maybe. Any nice dog plays for Contender Series Tuesday? There's some big favorites, man. And I really thought most of the favorites were warranted, but we'll see where the lines move. You know, maybe we get some live movement. There does tend to be a good amount of live movement for these Contender Series fights. So got to keep an eye on that. Maybe we do get a good underdog. Half of the chat took turns putting in their mouths for Khamzat. So true. The parlay, what's going on, Nolan? I hope Khamzat took Dricus to dinner before he humped his legs for 25 minutes. For real. Minus 2,000 versus MVP has some value. Agreed. That's what I thought too. Glazer's man. It was a great performance, dominating a world champion who has made us all a lot of money. I mean, the thing is, nobody's saying it wasn't like a dominant performance. They're just saying it wasn't entertaining. And the people that want to say it's entertaining are like just fucking in denial about it. Makhachev we'll see. Imavov beats Kyle. I could see Khamzat on the Tom Aspinall card in October, Abu Dhabi. No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. They got a heavyweight title fight. They're not going to add Khamzat as like a co-main. There's no way. It was a great card until the main event. Oh, I think Usman can beat Khamzat at a 5-rounder. Maybe. But you guys, we got to remember, Khamzat like broke his wrist in round 1. So I think that kind of fucked him up a little bit. You know, he didn't really do much the next 2 rounds. In round 1, he like broke his wrist. So you got to remember that. Why do people think Armin will dominate Ilya just because he trains with Khamzat? Armin is nothing like Khamzat. The top 2 row will box his head off. Exactly. And Topuria is nothing like DDP, bro. Like, Topuria's base is wrestling, Greco-Roman. Like, the dude is a fucking good grappler. I was thinking about getting tickets for UFC Noche, but the card is looking bad. I would have booked co-main Moreno versus Tyro, Leon versus Morales, Rob Font versus Raul, and Grasso versus Fiorot. If that was the card, it would be worth it for sure. What's your dream card for the White House event? Honestly, I don't give a fuck. And it's kind of, I don't give a fuck because like you can't even go to it, man. It's like just not, it's not even a, like, what's the point? What's the point? I guess I'm going to watch it on TV and like it's going to be cool that it's at the White House. But unless you're actually at the fucking White House, who gives a fuck, you know? Hey, John, what's your most anticipated fight this card? I think we see some more upsets this week, like last China card in Baku and this past weekend. Last China card in It wasn't Baku, it was Macau. But the last China card, there were some big upsets, man. What was your answer, your question? Most anticipated fight on the card? I would say I honestly probably be the heavyweights, Pavlovich versus Cortez Acosta, just because I want to see if Waldo can keep the streak going. And Pavlovich is always just scary for me. Khamzat dates Dana White boy's mother, and it shows. Khamzat versus Ilya at welterweight, who wins? Bro, Khamzat's 6'3", 6'3", and a featherweight. The fact that this is even a question is insane. Ilya is a featherweight who actually fought at bantamweight at one point in his career. And you're asking me if he could beat Khamzat, who's now the middleweight champion of the UFC at 170. So Ilya's up 2 weight classes and Khamzat's down a weight class. And you're asking me who wins. That should tell you how good Ilia Topuria is, bro. What the fuck? Wasn't impressed with Khamzat performance. Fluffy champ in October. I'm taking him as a dog for sure. I'd be interested to see what the line is for that. All these Gumshot Glazers are just Habib fans returning. So true. We're not going to see Khamzat minus 250 for a very long time. So true. So true. Shout out to Olajuwon. What's going on, brother? Potential odds for Chimaev Imavov, if you had to guess. Chimaev minus 450. Minus 450. Maybe minus 500. Who do you think Conor McGregor will fight at the White House? He ain't fight at the White House, bro. Khamzat needs to DDP's ass or effective AF. I don't know if that's a joke, but it made me laugh. Still need to find the guy that said Chandler beating Ilya in a swing off. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. I remember that dude. Oh God, that was fucking hilarious. Chandler versus Ilya in a swing off. If they just let their hands go, who would win? It's so funny. Armin does not smoke Ilya. Dana White boy, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you must be one of these fucking caucus sniffers or something. White House event is so cringe. Agreed, dude. I always tell your DFSs, but the Neil bugged me so much. Yeah, so sad. So sad. Ilya KO round 1. Khamzat and Ilya used to train together some years ago. Is that true? Khamzat fights in October in Abu Dhabi. He took no damage. They're not going to put him on the card, bro. They're not going to put him on the card because he's a middleweight champion. They're not going to put a heavyweight championship fight and they're not going to do either. They're not going to do Khamzat main event and Aspinall co-main. They're not going to do Aspinall main event and Khamzat co-main. They're both too big. They're going to put them on their separate cards. Charles Johnson is a prospect killer. I'm avoiding the Kavanaugh fight like the plague this week. True. That one is a little sketchy to me. Bro, who would you like to see Topuria fight next? I would like to see him fight Armin because I think that's the toughest fight. If he fights Gaethje, he's knocking him out easy. If he fights Patty, he's knocking him out easy. Armin is the toughest fight, but I still think the top 2 world wins. It was a joke. I went to bed mid-fight during the main event. Fair. What is the most you've ever made on a bet, and what's the most you lost on a bet? Thanks for your time. The most I've made on a bet was probably like 20 racks, but that was the same bet like multiple times on different apps. So probably like 20 racks. And then the most I've lost on a bet, probably like $2,000, something like that. Pay-per-view of the year so far. I mean, if that main event was any lick of entertaining, probably would have been. Dana White boy is the ultimate troll. Could be. Looking back, do you think Dricus' title run was overrated or not with him fighting strikers in the title fight or no? I don't think so, but wanted to know what you think. I don't think it's overrated. I just think stylistically they were good matchups because on paper, Whitaker's a former champion. Adesanya, former champion, and he beat Strickland, who was the champion. So, I mean, that's 3 champions. It's just that all 3 of them are strikers who are not going to take down Dricus. So, those are, I would think, good matchups. That's why I bet on them in those matchups. So those are good matchups for them. They're not overrated, but, he's just not anywhere near like any type of wrestler. So yeah, that's my take. Just so, man, looking forward to Shanghai already. Hoping we see Waldo fight NITD. Yeah, I would love to see Waldo get a fucking finish or something because he ain't fucking doing that. And it's a little annoying. But Ilya wasn't a superstar yet. Yeah, that's true. They have future odds. Chimaev is minus 550 on Imavov. I was about there. I was about there. Ilya Prob does not beat Khamzat, but how do you think DDP versus Ilya would go? What? What? What the fuck are we talking about, bro? We can't make these hypotheticals. Ilya Topuria is a featherweight. DDP is a middleweight who's probably closer to a 205er, bro. We're not doing this. They train at All Stars Gym? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Did you learn more from the 2K loss or the 20K win? 100%. You learn more from the losses, bro. 100%. That 2K loss was definitely like a forced loss. I don't actually remember the bet. I just remember I've lost $2,000 before. That's the most I can remember losing. Maybe there's more if I don't remember, but I don't think so. But yeah, you definitely learn from the losses more. Bilal talking shit to Dricus is pretty funny. It is funny considering that he just lost his belt. So, I mean, it's like I get it. He don't like Dricus, and Bilal's like kind of a troll sometimes, and it kind of works. But it's also like, bro, you just lost your belt too. You just lost it as well, and you were the favorite in that fight, you know? What up? How we doing? Are you on Waldo? I don't have any bets yet, bro. I usually don't lock in any bets like that unless I'm really confident or I've done my due diligence on it. Like in the under 1.5 at plus 140, Pavlovich back to his round one ways again. We'll see, man. We haven't seen it since he got knocked out against Aspinall. Son, I had close over 53.5 significant strikes. They went green saying he had 55. Then later went red to say he only got fucking stat corrections, bro. So brutal. I'm thinking of playing Aljo plus 1.5 rounds this week, but I don't know. My brain keeps telling me one of them might rear naked choke each other. That's going to be the sweat because both of them are pretty good, damn good grapplers, bro. And T-City gets in that triangle, man. You got to watch out. I'm glad we shared a bump. I don't remember doing that. Prates versus Morales would be so sick. Doubt they would do that, but God, I want that matchup. That would be sick. I doubt that they do it too. Any early college football bets if you had to pick Texas versus Ohio State? Dude, I don't bet on college football until it's bowl season. I don't look at it at all until it's bowl season. And big part of that is just because there's no UFC and I can look at it. I have time to look at it, but yeah, I definitely, of course not. I'm not going to be looking at week one, man. I really just go for the bowl games. Somehow Fluffy is only plus 500 to be champ at the end of 2026 on DraftKings. Well, I mean, I guess is he like the second most favorite odds? Do you bet anything other than MMA? No, not really. Actually, trying not to bet on the NFL this year. We'll see how that goes. Seems low. Would Alex Pereira last more than 20 seconds against Khamzat? Yeah, he would. Waldo versus Sergey goes the distance. Could see it. People forget, man, regarding Khamzat. If Aljo Ortega, a 5-rounder, saw it, it was. I don't think it is it? They probably have it on Topology. Nah, it's 3 rounds. 3 rounds. I want Morales to get a fight again. I thought he was going to fight Leon. I think he should fight Leon. Hot take, new champ, 2026. We shall see. We shall see, brother. All right, fellas. I'm going to hop out of here. Appreciate y'all for joining the live stream. Khamzat Chimaev is not unbeatable. DDP, tough night at the office. I thought it was going to go that way, but I didn't think you were going to get washed that badly. Unfortunate, but we move on. Next week, UFC Shanghai. We got Contender Series on Tuesday. Going to be a good week, boys. Let's make some more money this week. We made a good amount of money last week. Cashed in PFL Friday. Cashed in on UFC. We cashed in on Dana White Contender Series Tuesday. We cashed in on Shanghai in the morning. Maybe we'll do a live stream for that. Maybe. We'll see. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, hey, Jai Picks. We out.